Rodger Champagne of Champagne Productions has been making music his whole life. When he was 18, he won a new Canadian Artist Development Award. He used that award to start his career in the entertainment industry. Today, he's turned that passion to be creative into a business. He's here today to share his story, and he wants to debunk several myths about the business of being creative. Welcome to the show, Rodger.
Hey, Randy, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are speaking my language. I've always been excited about that idea of combining creativity with business.
Yes, yeah.
Talk to me.
Well, I mean, where do you start? I mean, I think we all grew up with, humming in the shower or singing or the different abilities that we have as children, right? And so mine was always singing and comedy. I loved the two, and, never thought growing up in a little town, Fisher Branch, Manitoba, Canada.
Fisher Branch?
Fisher Branch, yes.
I'll tell you a quick story about Saskatchewan. People say, I say, where are you from? They say, a little town in Saskatchewan, right?
Yeah.
And I say, well, which one? They go, you've never heard of it,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And I say, well, I know a lot of towns in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
And then they say the name of the town, and it's always true.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because as I've traveled west, and I've traveled, extensively around the world now for different reasons, and, I will inadvertently run into people that know where Fisher Branch is. So it is kind of interesting. Yeah.
So back in the day, you never would have pictured yourself being, I guess, what's the term? Impresario, entertainment entrepreneur. So what's Champagne Productions up to? Well,
I think it's safe to say for myself that we are turning a corner which I never thought we would ever turn. So it's quite exciting in the sense that we're getting opportunities that sort of came out of ashes. You know how it is when you have dreams, and I mean, I've been a musician for years. I've done the circuit. I've been in front of record labels, and of course, I've had very limited success, as many musicians do. And
you were #1 in Denmark.
I was how did you know that? Did you hear that? I was #1. I mean,
and for those of you that don't get that joke, there's a movie you need to see.
but that's kind of how it is. You get a little airplay in Europe, you get a little airplay here. But what it really boils down to is, do you have the energy and the time to stick with it? So early on, I sort of gathered that this is either going to be a hobby, or it's not going to be full time. And then out of those ashes came the idea to develop Champagne Productions in a way that we could be creative besides just music.
So can you share with us some of the stuff you're working on right now?
Yeah, we can. Out of my musicianship came the idea that, when I was 19, sitting in front of A&M Records, the offer to me was a contract that was 90% A&M Records, 10% Rodger Champagne. So we know today that the industry has changed a lot. I mean, with downloads, with the internet, with being able to market yourself, it's a totally different ballgame.
Completely different.
It's
industry.
completely different.
Yeah.
So it actually allows people to create their own, selves, really, in the sense of how you want people to view you. So what we came up with is a show called Hit Song. It's protected. We've had it in MIPCOM France. We've had the show, basically viewed from the business standpoint all over the world. And now we have an agreement with a company in LA to develop it. And what we're trying to do is say that you have many choices as an artist. There's songs like The Voice, there's shows like The Voice, and there's shows about music, and how are we going to be different is a big question always, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give those who are part of our team the best deal they can get.
Do you even need a record deal anymore?
Yes and no. It really, again, I think it boils down to what the vision you have for your career is. As a young man, sitting in front, I was, at Capitol Records, and by the way, Capitol Records in Los Angeles Hal Milgram was the first guy to give me a real opportunity to present, my music. Out of those days, there was the ability to, obviously you need a record deal because you need the money, you need to go on the road. Now that you can be viewed so easily on YouTube, and that it really boils down to talent.
The myths about the entertainment business that you wanted to debunk. Talk to me about those.
Well, one of them I'm finding is, as we've developed good relationships in Los Angeles, and I'm sure I know that you know people down there, and there's this desire to get to know the person that can get you to the top. And I would say that you need to get to know the people and around you, and then you'll find the right way to the top. And what the top means is different for everybody, but for myself, it's getting to take an idea from inception. And of course, we know that there's not that many people pitching in Hollywood, so surely your idea can get there first. Right? So it's funny because when you have a good idea, that's where you start. But if you don't have a good idea, a good attitude, you won't go anywhere.
So it's a relationship business like every other business, but even more so because it's creative people. But there's creativity in all businesses.
Yeah, there is.
Champagne Productions is your company.
That's right.
You're developing TV shows. Mm-hmm. Are you still in the music business yourself?
Yeah, it's good that you ask. I mean, not in the way I was before. So now I'm looking at publishing deals and basically taking stuff that I've written. I'm currently working with an old rock favorite, Robbie Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive, and he's been a lot of fun to work with. Him and I are doing some projects together. He's by the way, he's got some great film from his tours all over the world with Bachman Turner Overdrive, and of course he knows a lot of people in the industry. But I'm developing, music to be maybe recorded by others, and I'll still tour and play. I've got a pretty good band and some good connections myself, but it would be more from just doing it for fun rather than being the rock star I once thought I could be.
Rodger Champagne, the show is called Hit Song.
Hit Song.
And I'm so excited that we get to find out about it before it hits the airwaves. Congratulations on everything you're doing. Thank you so much for being on Randy. One-on-One. Really appreciate it.
Coming up next, Tina Fang of the Canadian Migration Institute.